Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Today we're taking just a quick look at the Ace card. This claims to be the world's thinnest location tracker device, which is going to serve as an alternative to something like the popular Apple AirTag, Tile trackers, though instead of being on a keychain, obviously it has to be in a wallet, so a slightly different form. It has relatively premium construction otherwise, made out of tempered glass, only 1.9 millimeters, super similar to something like a credit card in fact. Working with both iOS and Android, you're able to see the location on a map, even ring the card, having a small speaker with a 540 milliamp hour capacity battery that is claimed to last 2.5 years. Quite impressive, and connects using Bluetooth 5.1 with alerts if your device has been left behind. And this Ace card tracker retails for $29, making it actually par on par with Apple's AirTag as well as the Tile trackers. And again, that alarm at over 100 decibels should be extremely loud as well. So inside of here, we have just a quick instruction card of how to set it up, get it up and running. Now it is using a coin-based battery as part of that very long, over 2-year battery life in standby mode, par for the course on these low-cost trackers similar to the AirTag. It doesn't use a rechargeable battery, for instance. Here's also a quick tutorial showing you the steps of how to activate it, and in multiple languages as well. Then down below here we have just the Ace card itself. First impressions being the construction quality is excellent with a aluminum alloy frame as well as that tempered glass front and back. It's almost like a mini smartphone and does have surprising density for something that is super thin, as you can tell there. Peeling off the film protector, this is of course going to be super glossy and a bit of a fingerprint magnet. And what's really clever is there is a spade logo at the top, so it's the Ace of Spade, and also draws reference to a playing card in terms of its size. So a very clean, minimalistic design. I do like it a lot. And this button physically depresses, so it's not just touch sensitive. You can click down on it for about 5 seconds. You'll hear that sound as a chime and a beep, which means that it has turned on. And to check if it's functioning correctly in terms of there's enough battery, it's turned on, you can also double tap on the Ace icon, and you'll hear that chime as confirmation. You can also press on it 5 times quickly to turn it off, and you'll hear that chime. There we go, and now it's turned completely off if you are no longer using it as a tracker and you want to conserve on power. There's also a little bit of a serial number kind of branded on the aluminum edge. Now, if there is one con, I would say supposedly you can change the battery and install a new one, but it isn't explicitly labeled in terms of the slot, so it may take a little bit of wrangling and perhaps even removing the back kind of glass cover here. In other words, it's not the easiest process. So that's where I kind of think with more of these trackers, if they just had a rechargeable battery in the future, and eliminating that door could also allow it to be water resistant. So using the advertised Apple Find My app, which is built onto pretty much all modern iPhones, iOS devices, we can tap on the plus icon, add other item, and it will search for devices that are supported nearby. We're going to put it close to it, and it's found the Ace card. We can set a name for it. I'm just going to save it and call it Ace card. And you can even set an emoji as an icon to track this device in the future, which is pretty neat. And then we can go ahead and click on continue. This device will then be linked to your Apple account to track your own possessions as opposed to other people, for example, and we're good. Now it has an icon here displaying the spade of where this device was last located. You can also gauge the battery percentage remaining on the Ace card itself, as well as play a sound if you have lost it and you're nearby. You hear that noise. It is quite loud and pretty easy to discern as long as you're within the vicinity of the same room, I would say. You can even pull up directions for locating the card, including where you're at as well as the card's location. You can also enable notifications that will ping you if you've left the card behind, with the exception of safe zones that you can configure. For example, your own house or maybe your workplace, if it's at those spots, it won't really give you an alert. So it's a very simple product, but pretty much works as advertised. And just like the AirTag as well as the Tiles, they're just using a low power consumption Bluetooth to operate. It doesn't have physical built-in GPS chip, so it relies on you or someone else in the iOS ecosystem being relatively nearby, and when their phone has kind of detected the presence of this card, it'll update the approximated location location on your own map, but it is surprisingly effective, creating almost this mesh via Apple products which have Bluetooth enabled. And again, it's a pretty smart solution. Instead of having more hardware sensors built on in that might draw more power, even though the tracker itself is super simple. But it does also mean that if you are in an area that isn't close to any iPhones or any Apple products at all, and everyone has their Bluetooth turned off, well, then you might be a little out of luck. As compared to an actual GPS tracker, which will be consistently pinging its location up to a satellite and sharing that with you, having data built on in, this is requiring other smart connected devices nearby to trigger and know its estimated location. So I just point that out because if you are, say, planning to track things in a very rural location, such as, say, the jungle for some reason, then a tracker like this may not be the most effective choice. Though again, dedicated GPS trackers with cellular built on in are going to be more power consuming and also expensive as well compared to these AirTag alternatives. And on the Android side of things, you just have to install the Google Find My Device app, which pretty much functions in exactly the same way. Inside the app, you'll be able to locate all the devices which are linked to your account, such as the Ace card. It will show up, and then when you tap, you can also see the location, or really the last known location on a map. The technology operating in exactly the same way. So that's more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of the Ace card. It's definitely one of the most stylish location trackers that we have seen. As long as you're okay with more of a proximity-based location tracker, I think this is still a very nice choice, primarily designed again for wallets. You can check out more details if interested in links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Ace card.